Welcome to the Community Voice. I'm Fara Sax. Today, we are launching our first Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce show, highlighting local members of the council. On behalf of myself and community newspapers, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the community of Surfside. Our hearts and our prayers are with you as you move forward. So joining me on Zoom in a couple of seconds is Elaine Adler.
Hi.
It's amazing how this works.
Amazing, isn't it? Technology is amazing.
Well, we welcome you. Thank you so much for joining me on this pilot start.
Absolutely delighted to be here, Miss Farah.
A quick intro about Elaine. She is the president of the AMC Chamber of Commerce for the last 30 years and has been fortunate to have had the support of great board members and the city of Aventura as she moves towards helping her members achieve success in their businesses. So with no further ado, Elaine, let's just jump in.
All right, I'm ready.
So tell me a little bit about Aventura as the world-class city and take me back to its humble beginnings, because it sits on a swampland on many, many acres. And we go from there to this vibrant, first-class, beautiful city.
Amazing. You're right. Probably 50 years ago now, it was Don Sofer, his father, Harry Sofer, and they saw this piece of swampland. Now, these were developers. Harry was the developer in Pittsburgh. Saw this gorgeous piece of swampland and said, what a great piece of land, of opportunity. And we could put a golf club here. And that's how it really started. So they certainly went through 785 acres of swampland, dredging it, planting trees, and they built, at that time was known as Turnberry Country Club. So now all their friends and family members were coming down. At that point, it wasn't even called Aventura. They didn't really know what to call themselves. Miami-Dade, Metro-Dade, North Miami Beach. They didn't know what. But they were coming down and they were golfing. And then the Sofer said, well, wait a minute. We need to have some housing for our friends, because guess what? They would like to stay here. They started building housing around what we now know as country club drives. Following that, it was, well, they're here, they're staying here, they're enjoying our country club. We need to build a mall to accommodate their needs.
Never mind the weather, right? The weather was just
well, of course,
top notch,
right? Ergo, we have the gorgeous Aventura Mall. So from those beginnings, and a lot of developers came in from around the country, around the world, and started developing big, beautiful developments. Very much a high-rise city. I mean, right today, 3.2 square miles, over 37,000 residents. And that's just the ones we can count. That does not count the visitors, the snowbirds, certainly does not count the influx of people who have run down here from the Northeast because they understand that Florida is such a great state to live.
So, and move forward. How did you get involved? What? Well, I know that it's the best for 30 years.
I was president of the North State Chamber of Commerce, and on my board was Willie Trump, the father of Stephanie and father-in-law Stephanie, Jules, and Eddie. And he was on my board of directors, and he said to me, you know, Elaine, I'm building a development a little bit east of here, and they're going to call it Williams Island, and I want you to come see it. Of course, Willie. I visited.
Not you. You just never jump into anything, right? You're very, you stay back in the background.
I visited with him, and I said, "Very nice, Willie. So happy that you're going to be successful." And I went back to the North State Chamber, and then pretty soon I get a knock on the door, or in those days a phone call. Elaine, we'd like you to come visit another development in this new community. Sure, no problem. Always happy to learn more about the general community. Went and visited it. Go back to my North State Chamber. Next thing I know, Kind of funny. I hope not too many people know this, but next thing I know,
Now they will.
well, it's already so far in the past, so it's okay. Next thing I know, it was I had a big board of directors at that time, like 36 people from around South Florida, and word somehow was getting leaked to them that Elaine was leaving the North Day Chamber and going to the new Aventura Marketing Council. And they said, "What's this?" I said, "No, I'm not leaving."
We're just going to add to it. You're just going to add to your resume, right?
So, yeah, sure enough. So, anyways, it was I did leave eventually. Well, no. So here's the really funny part of it. So I had a friend who was working there, Lee Denson Watts. She was working there like as executive secretary. And they started, sending notes to my board members. I said, Lee, I've got to stop this. I'm really happy. This is my family at the North State Chamber for the last 16 years. I'm happy there.
16 years you were there. That's a relationship.
Yeah.
God bless.
Oh. So she said, you know what? Just send them a note and say something that's so outrageous. I said, okay, good idea. So I wrote down on a piece of paper. In those days, we had faxes, right? Wrote down on a piece of paper. I said, oh, I want $40,000 in salary and insurance and 2 weeks vacation. I mean, things I never had. I said,
That's right.
That'll stop them, right? And I tore up the piece of paper and I faxed it to them, right? 2 minutes later, it comes back. All the developers sign. Okay. When do you start?
Wow.
My husband, who's an attorney, I said, get me out of this.
Oh my God. So this was 30 years ago, right?
30 years ago.
Wow.
And he was very smart. He said, my husband, Howard, said, you know what? He said, you've been there 16 years. I'm not telling you where to go, but maybe it's good to try something new after 16 years. Well, of course, I went there. Best thing I ever did.
Isn't that horrible? Isn't it horrible when you listen to your husband and you're right?
No. He's pretty good about that stuff.
So
He had a big vision, and I didn't. I was all tunnel vision. Oh my goodness, we did such wonderful things with that chamber. But now we've done wonderful things with the Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce. Yeah.
Anywhere you go, you're the light, Elaine. So I appreciate you leading the pack.
Thank you.
Tell us about the AMC founders and how that all happened for you as you're tooling along 30 years ago.
Oh, well, there was George Berlin. We called him Mr. George because they were building certainly all the Turnberry Associate properties. It was George that worked with, at that time, this was well before we were a city. So George that worked with the county, the DERM, the fire, the police, and actually even the transportation. So long time ago, George had this vision that from I-95, if FDOT nationally would help build an overpass from I-95 right to Biscayne Boulevard, it would take tremendous traffic and future traffic off the road. There was a small group of residents that got carried away and said, oh, no, we don't want a big bridge. P.S.
Got a big bridge.
Well, no, never the overpass from I-95. If you sit on Ives Dairy Road trying to get east to Biscayne Boulevard, you wish there were a bridge. So FDOT said, you know what, we'll go take our money, our millions of dollars we were going to put into building it, and we'll just move to another city. And they did, and we never got our bridge. But that was the vision. But George, when somebody spoke to George, it was a handshake. When you shook his hand and said, that's a deal, he did not need extensive contracts. A man of his word, beloved by all. We so miss him.
Yeah, he's a delightful man. I got the opportunity to meet him.
I'm so glad you did. Right. But we have a lot of wonderful people along the way. We certainly work with a lot of developers. Coscan out of Florida, they built the Point. The amazing events. When a big developer comes into a community and has a sizable project, they have very large marketing dollars. So Coscan would bring in the Royal Polo, and on what the Point now sits, They built polo grounds and they brought in Royal Polo. They brought in the Bee Gees. Williams Island had Sophia Loren. So we had the opportunity to meet all these people.
Mm.
It was very interesting times.
It's so nice to go back in time with you. So some things I didn't even know. So this is really, really fun. And now that you're now through the Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce, do you have businesses that are outside of Aventura that belong and are active within the chamber?
Oh my goodness, yes. Let's see.
That was really a rhetorical question. You know that, right?
No, of course, of course. Yes, we have businesses from Aventura and North Miami Beach and Hallandale Beach and North Miami and Surfside and downtown Miami and Hollywood and Dania Beach and Fort Lauderdale. I would think our furthest member is in Hungary, as in the country of Hungary. We have a number of members from Hungary because we have a member who I call my Hungarian connection.
And it's so funny. I've met her on Zoom and I was like, how many hours difference is this? You are dedicated.
Right, exactly. And of course she wants to move. So, we're seeing what we can do to help her.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk about some of the membership investment costs that if someone that's listening and watching would like to get involved with Aventura Marketing Council, maybe you can address that.
Absolutely. We have 2 levels of membership. We've kept it very, very simple. And I don't think we've changed the dues structure probably in the last 15 years. I'm a person who kind of likes things this the way they are.
Yeah, well, you were somewhere for 16 and now you're for 30. You're pretty consistent, Elaine. What
it's good. Same husband for 57 years, the same house for 30 years. So
that's why we love you.
So on the general membership level, we only have 2 different categories, one for 10 employees or less. So we do have a lot of the mom and pop stores, the individual entrepreneurs, not all of our charities. Some of our charities have gone to the upper level, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. So 10 or less, it's $475 for the year.
For the year, wow. What does that include?
Oh my! Well, if I just said everything, I think that might cover it. I have a feeling we may be the only chamber that still does not charge for our big, beautiful breakfast meetings.
Do not charge. Do not charge. You all hear that? Do not charge. She doesn't charge. They don't.
And we have 2 companies. You can certainly bring 2 people from your company on that level. And so think about it. If there's 12 breakfast meetings a year and you do bring 2 people, that's 24 meetings. You have now...
Do the math. Do the math.
The next level up, if you have 11 employees or more, that's $725. And I do want to say it is a full year from the time you join. I don't do the half year. I don't do a quarter year. It's just easier bookkeeping. If you join in June, your next renewal is June of the following year. It's very simple.
How many members do you have? How many members do you have currently?
Probably a little over 300 different companies.
And also, I want to just quickly, I know you want to get back to what your other point was, but how many Zoom meetings, whether we've had networkers or we've had wonderful webinars and different guest speakers, have we had in the last 16 months? Although we're going live last night was fabulous.
Oh, fabulous. I would say thanks to Michael Stern, our former Aventura commissioner, who just may be our new commissioner again in 2022. But Michael Stern handled, I would say, about 115 Zoom meetings.
115 Zoom. Do you guys hear that? Do you know what the power is of keeping people in touch with each other? That is like so amazing, Elaine, to have been witness to this, to be part of that, and for the community to stay together during this time.
And that's exactly why we did it. We knew our businesses were hurting. We knew they needed a way to keep in touch because that's where the business is being done, a lot with other members. We would have a big breakfast every month. We would have a big chairman's roundtable lunch every month. We would have an evening networker every evening, once a month. We would have our speed biz once a month. And then we would have 2 to 3 committee meetings. So we would have, 5, 6 meetings a month. Granted, all free for your levels. Now, when we went to Zoom, We basically doubled it. So what I was doing, instead of having one big breakfast meeting with a great speaker every month, I did one every week. Instead of having one speed biz a month, we did one a week.
It was on steroids. It was crazy. It was wonderful. It really kept everybody in touch.
And that was the point. We knew we needed to keep our members connected, especially our small businesses. And there was so much uncertainty and fear, and we needed to keep some sense of normalcy. And when they, at least we couldn't go in person, we didn't know what was happening. At least you would see your friends and your business partners and potential clients. You knew you could see them once a week, at least. Sometimes it was twice a week. So yes, it was crazy. We were rolling. By the way, you know how big our office is? How many
How
people?
big?
2. Me. And
tell me about the team. Tell me about your team. Tell me about the board. Tell me about what's going on in house. Tell me about the trustees. Tell me where. Just tell me. Tell them.
I'll tell you. I'm so happy to tell you. All right. So let's just get back to the membership level. So you heard about the general membership level. We also have the Chairman's Roundtable. There are 4 levels on the Chairman's Roundtable level. And it starts at $19.50, $27.50, $5,500 is governor level, gives you a seat on the board of directors, and then $82.50, and that is a lot of other benefits.
So drop some of those names. Who are some of the companies that are involved in the organization?
Well, we certainly have FP&L and AT&T and son of a gun, community newspapers, Aventura. We have 4 hospitals, actually all on our Chairman's Roundtable level. Aventura Hospital, Mount Sinai Medical Center, Memorial Healthcare System, and North Shore Medical Center. We have the big realty companies, certainly One Sotheby's, EWM. I could go on. I think we must have about 15 or 20 different realty companies. Go through our boards. Attorneys, Eisinger Brown. Oh no, they actually changed. It's now Eisinger Law because they were having so many partners. They're located in Hollywood, have been on our board level since the beginning. The developers, almost all the developers, are members of ours. And that's where that Chairman's Roundtable level comes in. There are people that say, look, I'm a small business, but I own my own company. I'm the CEO, I'm the CEO, I'm the CFO. You're a C-level. And I need to meet with other CEOs, but preferably from the larger companies.
So absolutely. So you're catering to the small mom and pop that are just in the community in a grassroots sense, and to a bigger company. So for them to really interact, engage, and to have connectivity. So this is where the beauty of Aventura Marketing Council is. You can fit into and you address every kind of business in the community, which has really been a coup for small and big businesses. So for those that are listening and you want to get involved, I really think that this is a wonderful opportunity to meet other like-minded professionals. And Elaine, I know we have time, but can you just give me a quick email or website that you're listening?
Website, Aventura Marketing Council. .com, COUNCIL.com. You can always email me at Elaine, ELAINE, at acouncil.com.
And she does return her emails quick as a bunny. And it's a wonderful organization. So let's move forward. So AMC is known for its charities, working with charities in the community. And I mean, over the time, you have raised money or in donation in kind of well over 1.5 million. That's a lot of zeros. Dollars.
That's actually unheard of. That is and I'm just giving a for instance, because we are a not-for-profit and we have our own charity, which is our AMC Education Foundation that works for and with our day partner schools, of which we have 12 of them. So many, many years ago, I just felt, I don't know, it was the way I was brought up. I'm very old-fashioned, as you can tell.
She hates to talk about herself, but where are you from, Elaine? Where are you
Chicago.
From? She's a Chicagoan.
Yes.
Yes.
But
so that's how you were brought up, to really give philanthropic and to give back.
When we would have a special event, any fundraiser, I would make sure I would find sponsors just to cover the hard costs. So when people would come, their checks would go right to the charity. We have never taken money from it for ourselves over the years that could have amounted. And I know every organization does. It's tremendous time consumption that takes to do this and organize and get everything done and done right. But I just felt we've been so fortunate to be on the giving end. And that's actually, I stopped counting at 1.5 million. I think we're over that, but with two people in the office and I'm one of the two.
That's right. It's a lot of zeros. So it's a lot of zeros. So it's really do great work for you and the team do a great work for the community. What are some of the most memorable events that you've sponsored, hosted? Some of the memories, some of the best memories.
Oh, wow. All right. So we did a great big event, actually 2 of them, but the first one was for scholarships at FIU, where we raised $187,000 in one night for them. And
amazing.
So thrilled. That scholarship continues on to this day. They are still working off the interest on it. So they've got the principal there at FIU at the Biscayne Bay campus.
So you've helped a lot of students move forward in their lives.
Oh, we're very big. We've been Dade Partners of the Year. It was 4 straight years. Then we were inducted into the Dade Partners Hall of Fame for 4 consecutive years. And I finally said to my schools, it's okay. You really don't nominate us anymore. I feel like it's unfair to the other organizations. It's okay. We've got we know what we're doing and we're happy to do it. Another memorable, it was a 50s night and we brought in, it was the platters. Yes, the real platters.
I was there. And as we go back in time, I just found a picture of, may he rest in peace, Dan Palmer, my husband and I as 50s. I have to tell you a quick story. We walked into a McDonald's because my husband and I had another event before. So we walked into a McDonald's dressed as normal people and we walk out in like a time warp back to the future of in the 50s. So people were looking at us while they were eating and they were like, what are these people doing? But it was a glorious time to raise money. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Well, we just had a great time and people were dressed the part, like you said, and this dancing was all into the 50s and all the money went to FIU. Were you there when we did By George? We were honoring George Berlin.
Yes.
We talked about him and it was a surprise for him. We did it at the gorgeous Turnberry Resort, of course.
Right in the heart of Aventura.
And we had a lot of organizations and they wanted to come in and do plaques and proclamations. And we said, no way, Jose. Honestly, that gets a little boring. So I said, listen, you want to honor George? You sing. He said, what do you mean we sing? I said, and you're going to have to audition because we're not putting you on stage in front of 500 people. You've got to be really good. And they came in with groups. We had police chiefs with red wigs on. We had his temple organization singing. We had the whole Sunny Isles Beach Council there doing the Macarena.
Yeah, there's something about music that brings people together. So
it was fabulous. And of course, that was benefiting the George Berlin Scholarship. And that was at FIU as well.
And this is your pet project, I think, the Young Stars Showcase. The Young Stars Showcase. Tell our audience exactly what it is. Look at her.
Young Stars Showcase.
It's close to her. It's close to our heart constantly.
Very close. Yes, we are now going into our 12th year.
12th year. Tell. How does this happen? What does this benefit? Tell about these young, talented.
And I will.
You will. She'll go on. Go ahead. Go.
I can go on all the time. All right.
Go.
Many years ago, when the Aventura Arts and Cultural Center first opened up, they said, Elaine, why don't you do something here? And I said, okay. And so my husband and I were out at a restaurant, and outside the restaurant, there were a bunch of young kids singing, from one of these little groups. And there was a young boy singing. His name was Nick Marinko. He was probably 11 years old. And as we walked by, it was like, dead stop. I had already checked out any of the groups. I figured, I need about a $5,000 budget. So
wait, was Howard responsible for this one too?
Well,
moving along.
Howard said, yes. Howard said, Elaine, do you hear that? I said, oh, yes. So I followed him after he finished. I went to his mother and I said, listen, we'd like to do a kids talent show. And she says, Disney is about to sign him. And, if you have a talent show and if he doesn't win, it doesn't look good for Disney. I said, no problem. It'll be a showcase. We don't have to do a talent show, talent contest. It'll be a showcase. That was the start. That year, our first year, 2010, we also had Josh Grasso. Today, Josh Grasso, you fall to your knees when you hear this kid sing. He was like 16 or 17 then. He is touring nationally with Phantom.
And it all started with the Young Star Showcase, right? In Aventura.
It is now the Interiors by Stephen G. Young Star Showcase, powered by AT&T. And what
wonderful people both. Both companies.
Check out this website, yssaventura.org.
Say it again.
YSS for Young Stars Showcase Aventura. So it's yssaventura.org. And just click on the videos and look at the progression over the years. One of our young ladies, Angie Green, was given the golden buzzer by Heidi Klum and America's Got Talent. Cameron Wheeler is the only one who has been with us all 11 years. Last year won the National iHeart Radio Music Competition.
That voice of hers, that voice.
In California, she has now opened for Katy Perry and Billie Eilish. Mason Pace, our rocker, he has opened for these big names, Joan Jett and Cheap Trick, all these big rockers. So, and yes, and you will still see them. Emily Taylor Kaufman, she sings at all the Marlins games. She's the one that does the national anthem, 16 years old. We bring her to it. And we continue and we hire them. This is not, freebie, it's a charity. Our education foundation, as long as we have some money left in it, we pay these kids to sing.
And when is the next one? When is the next Young Star
Showcase? Sunday, November 14th.
So clear your calendar out. Is it going to be a live event?
Live.
Oh my God, we get to connect and vlog.
Virtual one last year, and it was great. It was great. But the energy of the audience, the energy when the kids, the singers, they feed off the audience. It was, and Carvalho has made just about every one of them. Our superintendent has made every one of them. He was blown away when he went to his first one. Yep.
So talking about local schools and the superintendent, tell me what you're doing currently with the local schools to help them along with including the scholarship.
Well, that scholarship continues, and FIU sends us reports about how well the money is doing and who they're giving it to, and we certainly leave it up to them. They know where the need is. With our schools, they were certainly closed down for the year. There were, a lot of issues there. We work very closely, certainly with our two schools here in Aventura, as well as many others. But let's talk about our two, because they are operated and run by our City of Aventura. They are charter schools. ACES, Aventura City of Excellence School, K-8. They just had their 8th grade graduation. Previously, they used to hold it in the gymnasium, the recreation center right next door, and we would, right next door to the school, and we would go there and we would give our plaques, and very nice. However, with social distancing, you could not fit 300 parents and guests there. So we called our friends over at Turnberry, JW Marriott Turnberry Resort now, and
beautiful, beautiful place.
Unbelievable. And
great place for a stay vacation or from out of state. Just great place to get away.
Oh my God, 5-star world-class resort and Tidal Cove Water Park. If you haven't been to Tidal Cove Water Park, you got to go to Tidal Cove.
You don't need to go to Disney. You have it right in your backyard.
Yeah, exactly right. So anyways, but as a surprise, I brought in Mason Pace. And in the middle of the graduation ceremony, he was on his acoustic guitar and he sang Feeling Good. It was just, you could see the audience going, oh. Now they had a first-class venue, Turnberry and Seneca, Lingard over at Turnberry. They just went all out to help them make this the most memorable. These kids never had a prom, a junior prom, a graduation parade. They had nothing all year long. This was it for them. And now we've also got our new Don Sofer Aventura High School and a brand new principal there.
Then isn't that wonderful? That's so wonderful.
Right, right, right. And
When
you'll be seeing when we do a lot of our ribbon cuttings and, grand opening things, I will always gently suggest to the company, wouldn't it be nice if you made a donation to our schools or our new Aventura Police Foundation?
uh-oh, watch out, Elaine's coming for you.
Yes. And you know what? When we do that, that's never counted in the money that we raise. And yes,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
it's all good.
All right. So here we are in 2021. Thank God we've made it through. What's on the horizon for Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce for 2021?
Well, as we're moving back into our big breakfast meetings, we are
That's happening on July 7th.
Well,
that's a speed biz. I'm sorry.
Yes, that is a speed biz. Wait a minute. We just need to touch base on what happened last night because that was so special, wasn't that?
This is your time, Elaine. You tell us what happened. I was there, but tell me in your own words.
Grant was there. So once again, we had to have music involved. So our first live evening networker was last night at the
And it wasn't just one chamber.
No. Because, listen, you're going to do something, do it upright.
Do it big, right?
Do it big. So we had already partnered with the Women's Chamber of Commerce and Level 3. And it would be, of course, at Level 3, which is adjacent to the Aventura Mall.
What a beautiful venue.
Beautiful.
And it's a white space so that it could really transform into anything.
Yes. And
last night it was just brought down the house with all these chambers in attendance.
Right. And you know what's so great about it? You've got free, accessible parking right there at the Aventura Mall. You just walk up the skywalk from the garage, and there you are in this gorgeous Level 3. So anyways, I did call upon all my chamber execs from around the county and said, okay, we're going to surprise Bill Talbert, the president and CEO of the Greater Miami Convention Visitors Bureau, after his 30 years as a, leading our tourism industry, because he is retiring at the end of this year.
But I don't think he's really retiring because he was telling about his next business venture already.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So, but once again, we had to bring music in. So we said, listen, you want to honor him? Don't give us words. Don't give us plaques. Sing.
See, brought people together and everybody was hopping.
Oh, Mark Trowbridge reworded Sweet Caroline. It was Sweet Billy T, and it made it a group sing-along. And Eric Knowles, the CEO. Well, you know Mark, because Mark is Trowbridge, CEO of the Coral Gables Chamber, a dear friend of yours in the community news. And Eric Knowles, the CEO of the Miami-Dade Chamber, he sang, I Ain't Gotta Beg. You talk about bringing the house down? He was singing, and Billy was on the floor, literally. I mean,
I was wondering if he was going to be able to get up, but that guy, he's got the rhythm.
And singing, it was amazing. And then Joe Cheese is the CEO of Comical, the Latin Chamber of Commerce, brought in an opera singer from the Florida Grand Opera.
And his name is Marco Polo. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, well, I think it's really Rolando, because when he first walked in, he says, hi, I'm Rolando. And I said, hi, I'm Elaine, because I only knew him as Marco Polo.
That's what the name I got when I was doing my research.
You're exactly right. Yes, because Joe Chi calls him Marco Polo. But anyway, so he's saying, he's from the Florida Grand Opera. He's saying, O Sole Mio, in Italian, of course, because we knew Billy and his wife, Cindy, great big fans of Andre Bocelli. So he sang that, and it was so touching. People were dancing and singing and laughing and networking and eating, and it was just felt so good to be there. So that was last night.
So it was a great night, and I just want to talk about what we're doing here today. I introduced it. I don't know if you heard about it. We talked about the future. Every Friday at 11 o'clock, we will be having a get together on either Zoom or in my studio in South Miami for the Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce, good standing members to come in to talk about their businesses, talk about what, how they're positioned, talk about Aventura Marketing Council and how it maybe has changed their lives because it's changed so many of ours.
Right. Thank you, thank you. And it has changed my life, of course. It's kind of is my life. My husband said to me one time, you stay there so late. Should I just get you a pillow there? And I said, with a straight face, oh, would you? He never asked me that again.
Well, it takes a good man to back up a wonderful woman
Oh,
and a
absolutely.
wonderful organization. Is there anything else that you want to talk about that we might not have covered, Elaine?
There are so many big things coming in. So, yes, we work with so many of our charities. I have a Dream Foundation with Stephanie Trump, does amazing things with mentoring inner city kids, pays for college education if they follow that right path. Appeal of Conscience Foundation, bringing in world leaders to talk about peace and working together. And now, one of our newest coming up is the Top Gun Fighter Foundation. And that was created by a jet fighter pilot named Matt Wiz Buckley. And it's really working to avoid the darkness of veteran suicide. And there's so many aspects to it. So it's employment. So we're starting to work on employment, which, by the way, we've been working on at all times with everyone. Employment, bringing in the canines because they're finding that's a tremendous asset to people who are depressed and possibly suicidal. So that they're doing, we're introducing them to a lot of people, and there's something big coming along. There's also the human baton. We were in touch with the producers. There's going to be this amazing documentary shot actually on Fort Lauderdale Beach, and we're involving Aventura as much as we can. So we'll be hearing more about that. Right there, J.W. Mary Turnberry in January, the end of January, you have got the motor car cavalcade, about 125 luxury curated automobiles. So they will be there on display and doing some wonderful things. We've got Gulfstream Park coming up with yes, they're racing, and they're our sisters. Literally Broward County to Dade County is like from maybe the width of my computer right here. So it's a stone's throw. So yes, we work closely. They've got their big Pegasus race, one of the world's richest races there for the third.
And they're off, right?
It goes on and on and on.
Elaine, I appreciate this time. I appreciate all you and your team do for the community.
Thank you.
And again, how does one get involved with the Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce? Give me that email again and the website.
Website, AventuraMarketingCouncil.com. Our phone number, 305-932-5334.
Elaine, a pleasure. Have a wonderful day, and I can't wait to speak to you and see you again.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
We thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.